Welcome everybody. This is John with Edna Frances Farms. I've been getting requests to do a greenhouse video. I've been meaning to do a greenhouse video for a long time. This is our main greenhouse. It's a walpini style greenhouse, meaning here at ground level, much of the greenhouse sits about 6 feet below that. And I'll show you that in a minute, but I wanted to start here at the east, like the sun does every day, and kind of show you one of the things that makes this greenhouse different than most. You can see that over to the right side, it's solid. We really don't get much sun coming in there. We actually lose more heat than we gain. So that part's actually going to be insulated on the inside. As we move around, again, this is facing east. So this clear part on the left, the windows are going to catch the rising sun and help you get those temperatures up early. We put in a couple windows. You can see that they're mismatched. They were some special order returns from Lowe's. I think they're actually just slightly different sizes even, but we wanted some windows so we could open them up for ventilation, and they didn't end up being too awful expensive, being as they were returns. So we're gonna kind of walk around here. Also worthy of note, this greenhouse is a triangle. It's a right angle, 90-degree angle at the peak, but we made this front wall very, very steep. I believe it is 37 degrees. We did a little research to see what the optimum angle to catch winter sun was, and don't quote me, it varies by latitude. There's places online you can go and look it up to find your ideal angle, but I think around 37 degrees is right for us for North Carolina. Not so much concerned about the summer sun. Sun's more or less directly overhead anyway, and as that roof peaks back, it is solid, and we really don't need the sun in the summer. In fact, we'll cover 80 or so percent of this wall with a shade cloth in attempts to keep temperatures down. And there won't be much in there other than our permanent stuff there. So Lexan plastic, painted it white to help protect the wood, help to not build so much heat against the plastic. This plastic should be good for at least 10 years. I hope it is. Was certainly an investment to do this. We picked this up at the local Lowe's. So again, you can see kind of down at the bottom, we have a right at 2 feet that's above the ground, and then we transition to our wall there. We're gonna walk around to the west, and you kind of see the same thing repeated. Part of this wall is clear to catch those last few rays of sun in the afternoon, and then part of it is more on the backside is insulated, because again, we're losing more heat than we're gaining there. So we'll walk in here. So you can see that there's several steps down here. We're going to go down to about 6 feet under the ground. I'll try and give you guys some sort of panorama of everything that's going on. We got some stuff under grow lights right now, which allows us to fully utilize these racks. We have some permanent type beds that we grow in. It's March, so probably 6 weeks too early to have tomatoes outside, but we've actually harvested a couple of these tomatoes already. Mostly right now we're in seedling production mode, so you can see some things like the snowball cauliflowers and the broccoli, and I believe that's bok choy right there. So why go to all the trouble to put it 6 feet underground? And the answer really is buffering the heat. So one of the first things in my early attempts at building greenhouses that were basically just cold frames that I built was they got way too hot. And they sort of required a lot of maintenance. They would need to be closed up in the mornings so they could gather some of that heat. When it was 40 degrees out in the morning, I didn't really want to open them up. But by, close to lunchtime, they would need to be opened up, or, we'd be hitting 120 degrees, kind of like a hot car, and killing everything off. So basically, once we get about 2 feet into the ground, the temperature stabilizes. It's about 55 degrees here anyway, once we get underground. So we're both buffering it against frost in the winter. I do have a heater in here. I've used it exactly once this year, and we're pretty much done with the real cold stuff. I don't think we've gotten below maybe 40 degrees in here, low 40s, with no supplemental heat. And actually, the only reason I ran this heater here was to boost some temperatures to kind of speed up germination. Doggone it, I checked the temperature on the weather app to see what it was, and I was going to check it in here. 65 in here. That's probably pretty doggone close to what it is outside. But today is super cloudy. We've not gotten any sun. It's kind of frustrating. Not a whole lot of rain this week, but we did get. But we've got the clouds. It's been cloudy all day. Sun hasn't really been out, so not much work for the greenhouse to do. Very high ceiling because of the pitch there, which is going to kind of come in handy. We do have things like this is an orange tree, which for our climate here in North Carolina is quite mismatched. Some poinsettias in bloom. Some things that we actually have collards grown as a perennial. These are ground cherries. They're a very hot weather plant. So a lot of things going on. So I dug all this out with an excavator. The walls you see are 2 feet thick. They are the blocks a lot of times you see maybe at construction sites or alongside the highway. They're made out of waste concrete, and they're fairly inexpensive. I think I paid about $35 a piece for these, and I can't remember the exact number, but I want to say there are 60 or so. So they're 2 feet tall, so 3 blocks tall, about 6 feet. So my entire head is below ground. The concrete actually, I've debated on painting it black to store more heat, but again, that helps you sort of in one season and hurts you in another. I guess now's a good time to mention the fish tanks. We have a gutter system on that back side of the greenhouse, which just has the metal roof, and I guess you guys can see that the back is insulated. We've got some we've got some 2x6 insulation under that, and then we've got the reflective foam board insulation under that to give us a little better light retention, and to provide insulation. Moisture barrier, it does get very moist in here. Let's see, humidity, 86% on the humidity. And again, it has not rained today, and that's a little higher than I'd like it. We may run the ventilation fan, and we do have just one pretty heavy duty 1700 RPM half horsepower motor. It's actually a ventilation fan that I think was made for like a paint booth or something to remove the fumes. So it's not all that big, but it's pretty heavy duty. When that fan runs, obviously it helps to control the humidity a little bit, and we do have a couple small circulating fans that we run too. But too much humidity is a little bit of a problem right now. So let's get back to fish tanks. So our fan just kicked on. It's on a timer, I think, that runs it either every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes. But it comes on, helps to circulate heat. It makes these plants stronger, especially the seedlings, and it just generally circulates air. And we do have a few sort of fungal related problems. The orange, I've been trying to kind of get rid of that fungus that's going on it, without a whole lot of luck. But I think once we get a little warmer, and some of that will take away. So anyway, back to the fish tanks. So that pipe there that you can see coming in connects to our gutters. When it rains, we get water out of that. It's got a screen because we do get some trash. And then these tanks hold 250 gallons each. When tank 1 here fills up, then it spills over, overflows into tank 2, also 250 gallons. You see it's not quite full right now. We use this water for watering, and I'll show you that in a second. And then anything that gets too high in tank 2 then goes out the pipe, and it goes into a floor sump drain. And we don't waste this water either. We actually have barrels adjacent to the garden, and this will pump into those. We use that for some hand watering tasks once that goes out. These barrels do have fish in them. So the fish do a couple of things for us. One, they keep this from turning into a breeding ground for mosquitoes, because that would happen. Put a handful in this one too. But also, they poop in the water, and there are a lot of fish in this tank. 50 might be conservative. And they were bought just as, cheapo feeder goldfish. They've not grown huge, but in the right at 3 years, I guess now, that we've had everything set up. They've grown to 2 inches long. They've got some fat on them. They eat those mosquito larvae. They do eat some of the algae. Not sure if I want to paint the tanks black or not. I don't really think the algae is a problem. Hasn't been so far. But, I'm worried if I paint these tanks black that it'll get too hot, and it'll have a negative effect on the fish. But they're all in all pretty happy with their home. The water also serves as somewhat of a storage battery, much like our 2 foot thick walls, and the earth surrounding it. They are storing that heat and releasing it back at night, and that's why we don't get those huge swings in temperature. I want to show you one thing that I just kind of thought of. I was talking about when we built the greenhouse, and I didn't get this on the way in, but Edna Frances greenhouse. We went all fancy with the Roman numerals, but 2021 is when it was built. Pineapple. It likes it pretty well here too. Yeah, that's the main gist on the greenhouse. So far, very happy with it. We did end up having to put a French drain in and around the perimeter because the concrete blocks were not waterproof by any means, and we do get a decent amount of water that comes in from the foundation. So we dug 6-inch trench or so around the outside, filled it with some gravel and some perforated pipe so that could meander on around to our main drain system there. Show you. Let's show you show you one quick thing, and I'll show you the watering system. We did put automatic foundation vents in, so in a case where we are not out here to open these windows, the foundation vents will automatically open up, and that'll provide sort of an airflow for our fan to suck. The greenhouse isn't super tight. It would probably function okay anyway, but just to kind of provide an extra measure. And those open up anytime it's over about 50 degrees. So there is that. So let's show you the watering system. So it's really very simple. That's our pump. Simple pump. We can turn it on with turn it on and off with a switch. The green hose is the suction hose, and as you can see, it goes into the fish tank down at the bottom. I just manually move it back and forth between the two. If one starts to drop a little bit in levels, I don't ever let them go because of the fish to less than about a third of the tank. And they actually refill really quickly. I don't know the exact sort of exchange rate, but I think if both were a third full and we got an inch of rain, it would easily fill both back up. So we don't really have any issues with running out of water, even when we hit some of those sort of drought conditions. So when it comes out of the pump, it follows this black hose over here, and we got a little filter on our watering wand, but we can just and water what we need to. 30-inch watering wand gets us everywhere we want to be, and kind of a nice gentle stream. So one of the I guess issues you might say, advantage and disadvantage of this greenhouse is when we get kind of back here, there's not too much light. So we actually have a lot of plants back here that really don't want direct light. Christmas cactus being one, some other succulents. Um, the Wandering Jew, the Transcendentia, doesn't really like a lot of direct sunlight. I think this is white wood aster, and the orange pot, they grow in the middle of the woods, so they don't like a lot of light. The other thing we do with sort of the dark areas, I mean, number one, we can kind of convert them and give them some extra light. So we've put in a lot of lighting. I did buy a few fluorescents because they do give off a little bit of heat, and that's not always a bad thing. Just gotta use it to your advantage. But we've also got some trays down here where we're trying to propagate stuff, and this is another of the ground cherries that come up like wild around here. And obviously you can see it doesn't mind the lower light settings, but we got a lot of cuttings rooting back here. That guy's actually it's probably at least a 5-foot tall plant. It's kind of went crazy. So we make use of the lower racks, and we make use of some of the not quite so bright spaces pretty well. Got a little potting bench in here. We make our own potting soil in a 2 cubic foot or so tub, and we kind of fill up all our trays and pots and stuff. Start our seeds here. So, and maybe just show you a few more plants. Some stuff popping up. Some stuff we put in bigger pots, getting ready for the plant sale. It's very much a hodgepodge of vegetables and flowers and herbs, and there's a little tomato. Where did the tomato go? You guys can't see it. There it is. That tomato is actually from last year. So we have some things that we're growing as perennials. Pretty nice, maybe 10-gallon pot tomato there. I've not had much luck with 5-gallon buckets, but that seems to be working quite well. We have some collards that have been grown as perennials. They're 2 years old. This is a collard plant that I harvest regularly. Up there in the top, we've got one of those is a Meyer lemon, and the other is key lime, I believe. But you can see some blooms on there. They're still getting to be big, but we've definitely gotten some fruits off of those. I don't know how well you can see this one. This is what the bloom on a mother of thousands plant looks like. So where is that plant? Nope, not there. Not there. All the way down here. So that is, I mean, if it was really standing up straight, it would probably be close to 10 feet tall. And that's what they do if they're in too small a pot. When they're not in too small a pot, that's more what they look like. So we got one in a bigger size pot, one there in our sort of permanent bed. So we did make a couple of permanent beds here. Not even real sure where these came from. They were sitting around my mom's house. They were a mosquito hazard. They were collecting water. I got them for free to haul them off. They are about maybe just a little over 4 feet long and probably about 18 inches deep. Drilled some holes for drainage in them. Did put a couple of these ratchet straps that help them from bowing out too much with the pressure of the dirt, but the strap fell off of this one, and it still looks pretty good. But we have 3 of those repurposed. We have a couple of these old city recycling containers, and the idea is to grow food crops here. I probably should rip all of these ground cherries out and put in something like lettuce. We've done lettuce, we've done carrots, we've done tomatoes and peppers. We've done, there's some kale right here. That kale is also probably around 2 years old. So we can train this tomato a little bit. I need another tie on that one. So I think I will show you this cactus that I'm not even exactly sure what is, but it's close to 4 feet tall now. It goes up over show you that Transcendentia on the way out here, and I want to show you the hose going to our garden irrigation system. That guy droops all the way down 6 feet of that, so pretty cool. We'll be making a push to get a lot of this stuff out and to a temporary home hoop house, because we've got to have some room. Right now we're packed as dense as we can be with seedling stuff. All of these are restaurant bus tubs, are seeded quite heavily. Probably, I used to know the number, roughly 60 seeds to a tray. You see on the cauliflower. Most anything that'll pull up and transplant well, I kind of like doing in these versus doing in the cells. More reusable. I did get a bunch of the 4-pack cells and trays for free from a neighbor. So not so much the cost, but they're not going to stand up to too many years of this. We do, this year at least, and mostly in the past, we do plan to sell everything in a 3-inch pot or so, whether it be a house plant or a tomato, or I should say at least a 3-inch pot. I really prefer not to sell seedlings in the 4-pack trays or 6-pack trays or anything like that. It's just a little easier to, for somebody that doesn't want but 2 or 3, somebody wants to mix and match, makes it a little easier on them. So just a basic storm door here on the back. Got a little cabinet to store a few of our chemicals and whatnot. Hang up some of our pruners, and that's about the toolkit for out here. A couple adjustable wrenches and a pair of channel lock pliers. This could probably be done more elegantly, but all the lights are on a timer. I actually ran all of the outlets there. Don't kill me from an electrician standpoint, but all of those outlets there plug into this one outlet, and therefore we can plug it into just a standard timer. And we do have tunes. So there's that. Fan runs on a thermostat as well. We have a thermostat down here at a reachable level that we typically keep on 85, 90. I like it hot, but 85, 90 is about, at that point, the fan's just kind of going to maintain. If it's really getting hot outside, then it's just going to keep up. It's not going to drop that temperature much. We've got some stainless steel racks I scavenged that we keep pots on. Pots come from the we have agricultural recycling drop-off stations at the local farmers market. So landscapers go through a bunch of these pots. They take and dump them out there. I pick them up. We use recycled pots. Saves a lot of money, makes us feel good about ourselves. And we got some tables here that again, we'll start to use those to harden things off and sort of transition them to either our sale areas or actually out in the field. We do make our own potting mixes. This is a little bit larger scale than what you saw inside. Again, those tubs from Mom, and we can mix it up however we want. And more sand, more compost, more peat, whatever we need. So that hose coming out of the building that gets that excess rain and that groundwater comes out, has a little filter, and then it goes to 2 garden hoses, as you can see. So we'll kind of follow this one along. It goes a little longer way than it has to because we want to keep it out of the cart paths and tractor paths as much as possible. And we're gonna go, I don't know, 75, 80 feet over here to these barrels. And this little weigh station, watering station, is new for this year. We are gonna have to get some fish here, or else the mosquitoes are gonna have a field day. But they will survive even in this kind of murky water. And this will settle out and clear out once it hasn't been raining. But that gives us, I don't know, one's 35, one's maybe 45 gallons. It gives us, 70 gallons to use in our main garden area here. And sometimes things just, it's just easier to hand water something. We do have an irrigation system, which once everything gets set up and fully rolling, we'll take care of most of that automatically. The other hose actually runs even further. If you can kind of look way out there to those 2 black barrels there, they are full of water, and that's what we use for what I call the upper garden up there. So one more thing, I'm already over my 30-minute target here, but there's actually something interesting here. So in addition to shade cloth, we're using kind of a natural shade material, and that is these banana plants. So this is the first life I have seen from the banana plants. We can't harvest bananas here in North Carolina. Way too cold. I didn't cut these back. Maybe I should at this point. I think they're going to kind of take care of themselves, but they're pretty modest in size right now. These have been here again about 3 years. They certainly get 5+ feet tall, but they're going to take a lot of that sunshine and that solar radiation out when they reach their full size in June, July, August. So that's actually going to be a plus there. And then you can see they've died back to almost nothing, so they're not blocking any sunshine for us right now, which is good because we need all we can get. Here's what the sky looks like, and workshop building, a couple of hoop houses that we'll get plastic on as we need them. We have done in-ground growing in those, and we have done this one is in preparation to just be a frost shield for our plant sale stuff. A weigh station on the way to the front. thanks for watching. Please leave any feedback that you think will help me, or any requests for future topics.